I just, yeah, I throughout my like adult life, I've definitely changed my tune on abortion a lot because I used to have like the like belief of convenience, really, which was just like, yeah, I'm in favor of it because I don't want to deal with the consequences of my actions.
I've
But
funded
like
a couple of them, not to be hypocritical.
Yeah, like I have not, but like at this point in my life, it's like, yeah, I'm against it, like pretty much 100% of the time. Like, and I think it's probably simplest and makes the most sense to just be like conception. Like that is a living being, and it's going to be ever increasingly more so. And so it's you get into like the nitty gritty of like, oh, well, what about this rare brain disorder? What if it has microcephaly where it's going to come out like this? And it's like, okay, that's definitely disturbing. But the 99.999% of the time that it isn't happening, it's someone killing the baby out of convenience.
So what's your stance then?
I think you made up your stats, but
so we're gonna go woman's mother's life and severe birth defects. Do we do visual birth aesthetic birth defects, or do we do health birth defects, or all of the above?
Yes. I think we should apply the standard Kyle would apply to his own life. You lose half a pinky.
Hey, I'm not giving birth to the penguin here. We're not going to make it on DC Universe where we got Two-Face over here and the penguin over there wobbling around. No, thank you.
I don't know the best answer for every situation, but I know like abortion is killing a baby. Like it's wrong.
It's fun though.
No.
Okay. No, I like the stances. So Woody's when it's viable. Outside the mother, I kind of like that. I think it should be more like 6 weeks because I think the mother should be able to get some notice that it's go time.
I interrupt? Do you know how short 6 weeks is though? Like
42 days, I believe.
The problem is it's not. This is why I say that. It's so the timer starts at the period, right? So the timer doesn't even start at conception. It starts 2 weeks before conception. And then it's not until 2 weeks after conception that you're even expecting a period. So now you're 4 weeks into this thing before you're even like, huh. At 4 weeks.
I know that. I'm not saying that you have 6 weeks notice.
So let me say, because I think maybe somebody listening doesn't know everything you do. And so now it's 4 weeks before your even suspicions are arised. And women go a week late all the time. Everyone here knows that. So like it's not until 5 weeks that you're even like, oh, I should get a pregnancy test. And now you've got like 7 days to get in the operating room. And oftentimes that's not possible. Not about your convenience. It's about their schedule.
Yeah. I mean, I do think I agree with Bill Clinton on this one. Abortion should be legal and rare. I think that we need more people. There's just people I don't understand why adoption isn't an option. Every time I hear about the receiving end of adoption, they're like, can't get one, can't get a normal baby. All I can get is penguin or Two-Face over there. Unless I want a Chinese baby. And Jesus Christ.
Whoa!
I went the compliment route.
And you want a rare baby.
Mongolian.
And the Chinese, there's too many of them.
Get a Samoan.
So I don't know. I still like the 6 weeks thing. And I'll tell you this: if I was a sexually active woman who was taking loads, I would keep a real tight, scoped out look on my uterus, and I would be making sure that like I wasn't pregnant. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I try to know as little about vaginas as possible. Outside the core.
That's just safer.
Yeah. The core stuff. But it would seem to me that there, are you telling me that the pregnancy test would not be effective until after she's missed a period?
I feel like Zach is going to know this. When does
the problem is that neither side will even allow themselves to see through the other side's eyes. I just keep seeing the left wing take on a right wing action and how they're like, look at them. They want to enslave women. No, they think you're murdering babies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see it as healthcare. They see it as murder.
I watch so much.
And that bounce goes in one ear and comes out the other. And it's like, yeah, they want to enslave us. Us. They want to know what our pussies are doing. I want to know less about what your pussy does, frankly. Okay. I want to know as little as possible about what it's doing when I'm not around.
What I don't like, and it happens on both sides, is people who listens to news that tells them what they want to hear, and then it just reinforces and echo chambers their information diet. And if you do that, then you're not getting informed on the topics.
Yeah.
I aspire to be better than that. Sometimes I hit it.
Yeah, I don't, that no one is saying, I don't think women have enough agency to decide about abortions. They're saying the abortions themselves are evil and that they don't want the child dead. That's their take.
Yeah.
And they just refuse to let that even process. Most of the time, they're like, no. That's not how I like that argument framed. I have my own framing for that argument. And the other side won't look at their framing. The other side can never imagine that, all right, what if the brain doesn't get formed until the last day? Then how do I feel? What if there's no brain until the last day? Then how do I feel? Oh, I'd be on your side.
Yeah. Or like, hey, the extreme stance that some, but not all Republicans are taking has had some bad consequences, right? Moms with unviable babies who are dying or losing their ability to have the next baby because of that stance. That's a bad thing. In vitro fertilization in Alabama getting outlawed.
I have mixed feelings about that. Okay. If
maybe
you're
I need to learn something. Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
So when do you think it's a life that shouldn't be aborted, I guess?
When it has any chance of surviving outside the mom.
Definitely.
But that means that as technology advances, your date will get earlier and earlier.
It does. Yeah, that's my stance.
I think it's easier just to go conception.
Okay. Well,
I disagree.
Well, it would be. I just like, investigating Woody's thought here because I don't disagree with it necessarily. I like it a lot. But the thing about that is, as technology advances, if we, for example, create artificial wombs, if there's a big jelly bag that we can put, then in that case, all of the IVF embryos that are fertilized, each of those is murder. So it's abortion on a massive scale. If you don't know how IVF works, they create lots of embryos. They take lots of eggs and they fertilize them all, and they create many embryos, maybe 6 or 8 or something or more, so that they can pick the best one, the most viable one. If you remember that scene in Gattaca, he goes 3 boys, 3 girls, and you see the tiny little pea-sized things. He's like, you pick the one you want, and they're like, and it's just like that. So as technology advances, you would quickly run into a problem with yours. But when they do the IVF, they've got, every time they do it as well, it doesn't work every time. They're making these batches of embryos over and over and over. It's abortion on a massive scale. But the whole point is that this couple who couldn't make life any other way, that their sperm and egg were never going to meet without the IVF science and the hyper ovulation that was induced, and then the micro surgery that's fertilizing the egg manually. All of that has to come into place before that even had a possibility. A life is going to occur that wouldn't have occurred without all that bad, and it's really hard to put a morality judgment on something like that. Yeah,
I
right.
Never thought about it that way. I guess I never really thought about IVF.
There's a simple view of right and wrong, which I can respect. I know simple sounds like an insult, but it's not meant to be. It's just uncomplicated. It begins at conception, and that's the end of that. But I'm like, I look at a slightly more complex societal view. Be like, okay, are we sure that having unwanted babies thrust upon unprepared parents is going to make America great? Putting the question out there, like it's a valid question, and now we're going to have poor families, perhaps without fathers, and unwanted children coming into the world with their moms, just trying to make a go of it. Some of those kids are going to turn out great, but so here's my problem. Since I've given a shit about pregnancy tests, they've gotten better. So I'm great.
I would also want to know how much they cost, because I'm like, if they cost what condoms cost, then I would have one. I would just pee on one every day. I really would. Yeah. If I was like that sexually active,
a fucking 20-pack.
Yeah, if you're like, I would be peeing on one every day. I'd want to know.
Zach says $6, and they can tell you 5 days before your missed period.
So this Google says the day of your missed period, the first day of your missed period. So maybe they're not all the same, but somewhere about 4 weeks into the pregnancy, as they phrase it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to create
a commercial.
I just don't think it should be a thing with 6 weeks is a little close,
either. I love the loopholes because that's the health of the mother. That's baby.
Sure.
That's the
those are
unviable fetus.
Yeah, but then like you run into the crux of the debate, which is like you have people saying this is killing a baby, and then you have people saying yes, but look at this teeny tiny percentage of abortions. What about these? And it's like, well, we should probably argue on the 99 point whatever.
Do you know what the
percent.
racial demographics are on abortion?
I would imagine like more black.
Yeah, it's way more black.
And so
you
like,
want to talk about
most people are using it more as like a fail-safe birth control than they are, it's going to have a wild disease or something like that. And so then you have people talking past each other.
flippers.
I'm trying to figure, because I know you're guessing at your stats.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know the actual ones. And God damn it, CDC, I want it as a percentage. Don't tell me like 622,000. What does that even tell me?
But I just don't know that I like the argument that only women should make decisions about this, because that again is ignoring the entire viewpoint of half of the rest of humanity. In that you're killing a person, and that's the part they care about. I don't care about policing women's pussies.
Yeah,
I don't care what you do with your pussy. I'm again free. I don't think freedom should extend until they encroach upon yours. You know what I mean? And there's some things that don't quite fit that mold. I don't know how I feel about homeowners associations. You hate them until somebody next to you has like a fucking burnt out car that's collecting hornet nests.
It's almost a necessary evil if like you're living next to a real like piece of shit. But hopefully you don't live next to it.
That's well phrased. Yeah. I mean, HOAs are opt-in. I love them. I love them for you. I don't want them for me. Yeah. But if you want a neighborhood where all the houses match and all the yards are manicured and that's important to you, then you can opt in and it's terrific. What I hate is when you want everyone else to have it but don't do your own part. That's when
360,000 black babies are aborted every year.
What?
360,000 black babies are aborted every year.
That is so many more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
That's a lot of dead
babies.
kids.
But
that's a lot of dead kids.
Looks like it's half of them.
Half of all abortions are black people?
Just have
14% of the population commits half of the abortions. Woody, that can't be true.
I on my screen it says 622,000 total. That's 2021.
Holy shit! It's the same number, Taylor.
It's the same number.
Well, I want to know what other numbers like.
This is like that Fibonacci golden ratio.
I don't know what the same number is.
14%, because
he said
13, it's the same as the crime.
Oh, it's a crime. All right.
Yeah, because 14% of the population commits 50% of the violent crime. It's over 50. I thought it was 50.
Well, using that argument, you want as many abortions.
I think it's higher more recently.
No, you can't. You can't be doing that. Doesn't
imagine without abortion. Now, Taylor, imagine without abortion where we'd be.
We'd have a lot more people that weren't killed. So I would be happier.
A lot more violent crime.
Maybe
that's what
turn out good.
Says. I've mentioned this in one of the other shows. I don't know if PKN or A, but he looked at that massive decline in crime rates that happened where somewhere starting in the 80s or so. Is that where it peaked? And said legalized abortion, not bringing in these unwanted babies into unprepared families is the actual reason that the crime rate dropped. Is it true? I don't know. It's in a book.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
It was that of the paint chips.
Paint chips.
It was that pesky lead paint, get them so riled up.
There are levels to the debate game. He 1v3'd us with paint chips, and I still think he won.
Yeah,
I think we were more just being polite. Like, oh, it's an interesting take.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about cognitive dissonance. Like, it can't be that, no matter what. Wait, it can't be that, no matter what. That doesn't seem like a fair debate.
No, it can't be that, Kyle. The whole world
can never be that ever.
If it's that, then my whole ideology is, nothing works.
Oh, so Taylor, where do you stand on the abortion pill, the one that makes the egg not? It's a fertilized egg, but it doesn't adhere to the uterine wall.
Is that the same thing, right?
Plan B is that. That's what I should have called it because everyone knows that.
I guess
it's a fertilized egg that never gets to the uterine wall.
I guess I would see that as lower priority than like the overall abortion debate. Like maybe, or I don't know. What are the numbers?
life
Because
begins-
I'm definitely a hypocrite with Plan B stuff. Because I've like in my younger years, unthinkingly, you know,
You became Plan A very quickly.
yeah, it became because I always knew the meme of people telling me like, you know, that's not like fucking birth control, like that'll really fuck a woman up, and so like I always had that in my head, so it was never something I used like with girls commonly, but like looking back on it now, like
You just slip in the drink.
yeah, I wouldn't buy one now.
Don't co-sign that.
So Taylor, according to Pew Research, accurate or not, I don't know, 53% of abortions are Plan B.
53% are Plan B. Well, then I got to be consistent. Yeah, then I mean that's by that same standard of conception, then that would be an abortion. So I don't like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be consistent. Like I respect the consistency, and I have my own hypocrisies, but I'm like, man, you can say these are hard problems and often perfect solutions don't exist. So yeah, this is where I land on like nothing's good here.
That's true, but like I do believe it's a life right away. Like that's like Bill Burr does that funny bit where the people he's like, you know, these feminists come out and they'll say like it's just a clump of cells, and he's like, yeah, if I came into your kitchen and you had just put a cake in the oven and I opened your oven and I take it and I throw it all over your kitchen and you go, you destroyed my cake. I can't go, that wasn't even a cake. If I would have left it alone, it would have been a cake. Like there's no debate on that. I ruined a cake. I destroyed the cake. And it's like
you should have called it a clump of flour or something. I don't know.
Just a clump of ingredients, meaningless. But it's like
just batter.
Yeah. So to be consistent there, yeah, it's and not just consistent.
So no
like
Plan B.
No.
What about exceptions? Health of the mom.
Health of the mom gets seedier because you want to like
headache.
You need to help. Like,
she's having mental health issues because she's pregnant.
See, that's like the thing with the health is like it's when they say health of the mother a lot of the time, and I learned this because I didn't know, like they'll mean like that also includes like financial health. And so they'll be like, oh, this is threatening financially.
I've never heard that before.
Or this is threatening mentally to me. And it's not necessarily like this is going to kill or cause serious physical issues for the mother, which if it is
down
like
to whether or not you trust doctors. And some doctors absolutely are not going to behave the way that I'll just say.
I know how medical marijuana works, so I don't trust you.
Right? I thought of medical marijuana. The other one was President Trump and his fake bone spurs. He can't even tell you what foot they're in.
Yeah,
but
it hurts so
some
bad,
doctors will just hook you up.
What he throbbing pain, his whole lower body affected by it. If he could have gotten his hands on those Viet Cong, he'd have throttled them with those big, powerful Trump.
We'd have won the war if Trump went.
Look, with his leadership, perhaps. I don't know. One man
would have brought much to the table.
He was a professional level baseball player, Taylor. He's an athlete.
I mean,
a warrior.
He probably would have, played if he was a professional level. Usually people aren't. You don't have like the Yankees beating your door down, being like, "Please pitch for us." It's like, I'm sorry, I
128. I think that's not bad. That's a lot of hits.
You got to be a realist.
I think that's how batting averages work.
Not at all.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
You pitch it to him once, he hits it 128 times. I'm pretty sure that's good.
Biden's just as bad, though. That's the problem. Like, I wish there was a third option that didn't have brain worms.
Dude, Biden came out.
For those who don't know, Robert F. fucking Kennedy. I hope that's not a real tweet, but it appears to be. He said that he found out that a brain had gotten into his worm. A worm had gotten into his fucking brain, eaten some of his brain tissue, and then died in his skull. And they just found out. And here's this tweet that says, I offer to eat 5 more brain worms and still beat President Trump and President Biden in a debate.
Have you ever seen the meme of the parasite coming out of the guy's ass and like typing the comment on the computer? Yeah. This is a brain worm coming out of his ear and typing this while he's laying there.
Shit.
I'll eat 5 more brain worms. I need company. I'm lonely.
They didn't just find about the worm. It happened in 2010. And I think it just came to light because someone found it in a book he wrote. Let me see if I have that part right.
I feel confident with the result, even with a 6-worm handicap.
That's a sick line. I'll give him that. And I saw Fox News making fun of him and his brain worm. And I'm like, this is a good strategy, right? Like if you're in the bag for Trump, then you blast him to your audience, and then the liberals would want to do the same thing.
Yeah. I wonder if the steroids made the worms like bigger and more hungry. Because that dude is jacked. Have you seen him without his shirt, Taylor?
Yeah, I remember. But like when he was just coming onto the scene, like he was lifting weights, and it wasn't like crazy amount of weight, but for his age, it's like that's respect.
Can you show us jacked RFK Jr.?
Yeah, he's legit jacked.
Yeah, he's fit. Good for him.
He's he's like elite for his age.
Yeah.
For
like
sure.
for what is he, 70?
I don't know when this picture was taken. Like that looks really good. But
look at it. I mean, the shirt
was
look at the hat. It's recently during his campaign. Kennedy 2024 on Colt. Is that Colby? Who is that?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, he looks good.
He's 70 years old.
Yeah, dude's pretty yoked.
He's got the T levels of an 18-year-old somehow.
Yeah. Look at those traps.
He's got a worm stealing all the bad bits of his diet.
With his traps. He looks like a man with either a nipple fetish or a lot of androgens.
Dude, I'd be ripped if I had a worm eating my fat.
Working out in jeans.
Well, it was eating his brain matter, though, Woody.
Well, I'd forget things.
Yeah.
The brain does burn a lot of calories.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, this would make him fatter. It makes his accomplishments all the more impressive.
I'm sold.
Your brain burns a lot of calories every day.
He's like a big gun grabber, so I don't like that.
Oh.
I don't like that either.
I don't like that. I heard Schwarzenegger talk about him, and I wish I could repeat it as eloquently as he did. Wait, what? I think I missed the thing. Did I say Schwarzenegger wrong?
Almost. The wax was beginning to drip off your wings.
Schwarzenegger. I don't know. That's how I've always said it.
Call him Schwartzy.
I've heard Arnold talk about JFK and some of his like more out there conspiracy theories. And he's like, look, I will never give this guy a hard time about these conspiracy theories. Somebody killed his uncle and somebody killed his dad and, the CIA and this and that. And I can't lay it out as well as he did, but it's like, given his lived experience, you'd be on alert for fucking monsters in your closet too. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's fair.
That's where he's coming from. We're all a product of our environment.
Yeah,
that's fucking fair. You forget that was his dad. Holy shit! Yeah. Damn, I hadn't considered that. I knew it was his uncle. Yeah. Well, I knew JFK was his uncle, but I didn't. Wait, if JFK is dad or his uncle?
JFK is his uncle. His dad is RFK.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And he was murdered while running for president, right?
Oh, I remember. I've seen the video. We all have. I'm sure. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if that's where you're coming from, and then I don't know if it's as shady, but like how many people in his family died in plane crashes?
Oh,
a statistically unlikely amount.
John Jr., who would have been his cousin, his first cousin, died off the coast of New York in a plane crash, maybe off Martha's Vineyard.
Is RFK the one that killed that prostitute by like putting her in the trunk of a car or something?
No, they were driving.
You're thinking of?
I don't think she was in the trunk. I think she was in the passenger seat. Was the story, and they crashed off a bridge into the water, and she died.
I saw the Wagner Group attack that oil field, the Wagner Group, and we called the Russians. We're like, "Are you attacking us?" And they're like, "No, it's not us." And they're like, "All right," and then they just rained hell on them for a day and call back, and they're like, "You're right. There are no Russians in the area."
I love that story. I saw, the Russians gave all the guys that survived that a special medal that's like, it's like a man on fire surrounded by American aircraft or something.
Yeah, they're like standing with an AK against an Apache, and they got a medal just for not dying against the Americans. And that scene never happened. There was no brave person standing against the Apache.
Probably not.
Well, they got to play it up a little bit. I bet there were a lot more people screaming and scared at Iwo Jima than we want to let on, but we won. And so it's fucking stoicism, brave raising of the flag. That's part of winning. You get to write it all. And so we get to be the cool heroes.
Yes.
It's that there's that famous artist, the guy who did the painting of the 1,000-yard stare, and he also did the painting where the soldier's walking and half his face is gone and half of his arm is gone. That may be Leyte. But he got a lot of flack for that. Like you can, I watched this documentary about him and his artwork and how he had everything, the way he'd covered the war up until then. It looked like a Coca-Cola commercial. You know what I mean? Like everybody's smile. It's like brave Americans going in, and then like what he saw on that beach changed him. And his paintings are all just gruesome and gory going forward.
Have you followed Ukraine lately?
Sort of. I saw there was some sort of Russian advance on Kharkiv where they just walked in or something.
They created a new from the very northern part of where Russia touches Ukraine. They're invading from there now, whereas previously that had been a not hot zone. And the Ukrainians, I think, were caught with their pants down, and it looks bad. I watched the Ukrainian propaganda, and they're all like, all right, they may have taken a few villages, but man, their losses were huge. They can't sustain this. A song I've been hearing for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
And you watch the Russians, and they're like, we took more land in the last 4 days than Ukraine did during their summer offensive.
I saw a first-person point of view drone hitting a Russian, and just before it hits him, for some reason, the Russian had a can of gasoline in his hands, and he tries to hit the thing with the can of gasoline.
Brilliant.
I can't think of a worse idea because, of course,
what if it was propane?
It would have been better if it was propane.
It's safe.
Yeah, because the can of gas does. It's like one of my videos back in the day. It's an explosion against a can of gas, and so he just becomes a fireball and he burns alive and explodes there, and it was gruesome.
I watched a bunch of Ukrainian crones dropping grenades, like I watched from 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm like, how do I know this is recent? Because the Russians have done a much better job with making it harder for the drones to have free reign than they did 3 years ago. And I just can't trust anything I see. It's very hard for me to be confident in the news I digest.
Yeah. Wars are notoriously covered with bias, depending on where you're viewing from.
It can't be that bad. I saw Anthony Blinken in Kiev today in a bar playing guitar and singing.
Was he good?
He played that guitar really well. He wasn't a great singer, but he wasn't a bad singer either. But he could play the shit out of the guitar. That was impressive. I didn't expect
Kyle
that.
said Anthony Blinken clearly and correctly, but somehow I processed it as that Bourdain guy. I'm like,
Anthony
that might be
Bourdain,
old footage.
Yeah. Anthony Bourdain, that guy who would like eat bugs in Cambodia and then stay in a nice hotel. That was his jam, right?
He toured the world eating delicious foods, and I don't know how many times Trump's violated his gag order, but I didn't understand it until last night. I was like, oh, he wants them to arrest him. That's what they want so badly is for a presidential candidate to be in jail. Oh, that's a good look for Donald. If they lock him up for contempt.
It is hard to watch much more reporting than I do on this topic. And I've heard both. I've heard some people say, what Trump really likes to do is get right up next to the stove and all but touch it. You know, he doesn't actually want to go to jail. He wants to do everything up to that line without crossing it. I've heard that people who talk to him in private say he really, really doesn't want to go to jail. He would hate that. But I've also heard what Kyle said, which is like, it is, dude, for a guy who plays victim, this will double it down. He will be such a victim in this thing. He'll cry lawfare.
You telling me Biden locked up his opponent during campaign season? Is that what happened? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that would rally a lot more people potentially to his side, because looks very banana republic-y.
The intellectual part of me wants to be like, Biden has nothing to do with this. He's not engaged. He's not part of it. This is a state level thing happening in New York. That's not a Biden, but that doesn't matter. The details don't matter. What matters
the Attorney General is a Biden appointee.
Is what matter.
If Biden wanted to like postpone,
is this the Attorney General or is this the state level thing that's happening? I don't think this is. Yeah, this isn't. Frankly, this isn't federal.
Yeah, frankly, it's hard to keep up with his many trials. I suppose this is the hush money trial.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is it?
Yes. Well, okay. Yeah, the federal. They call it the hush money trial. It's about federal election.
I
fraud
saw
or something
that
like
that lady fucking wrote about killing her puppy or whatever. The
Christy Gnomes, his potential VP
oh
candidate.
God, like
Yeah.
they are dragging her through the
I
mud.
saw
Did you see
that
Mitt Romney was
briefly.
like, at
What
least I
happened?
didn't kill the dog.
I know, I
What?
didn't see that.
What happened with her dog? She
Okay,
killed-
so she is a country girl, and she wrote an autobiography. And I think the way I heard it presented is it was some attempt to be like, I'm every bit as tough as the men are. She was going hunting, and she had a dog that was worse than useless. A puppy, I should say. She had a puppy that was worse than useless. It was untrained, and she shot the puppy in the face because it was ruining their hunting excursion.
There's not more to it than that.
No, and when called out on it, she kind of doubled down, and she's like, "You guys don't understand. This puppy really sucked." And she shot something else in the face too.
A goat? Was it a goat?
She shot a goat in the face because it smelled bad, probably goat-like.
You know,
She smelled a Mexican for winking at her one time.
This is all I have ever learned about this woman, and I don't like her. This is-
Yeah,
It does.
Nobody does.
Fox
No.
News is ripping on her. Like Fox News, who's the Judge Piero? I'm close to that, but not
Oh
perfect.
God, yeah. Her
Yeah,
armpits are disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
She's
like her
older.
either. Then
She was like, "America is a nation of dog lovers. We do not approve of this."
all
Yeah,
right,
Damn, when you lose
she's
Fox
right.
News, you're
When-
you're off the course there.
You need, nobody likes people who kill dogs. Michael Vick
I mean-
was so good at running with that ball, and then shut that right down.
He
People
was
were
a
not
piece
cool
of
with it.
shit, dude. Michael Vick was a piece of shit because he was torturing those dogs and killing them and all the rapes. He was breeding dogs. He was the
His dogs
fucking
were
guy.
begging for a bullet to the face.
Yes. Like this
Yeah.
wasn't just a guy who attended dog fights or had a dog that fought. Like this was his
Yeah.
side hustle was a fucking dog fighting.
He was the
ring.
commish.
He was the commish. He was in charge of he had his finger in every dog pie. He was breeding dogs, like killing. There was like a bucket for drowning the dogs in, like all sorts of shit. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
He
he
was
sucks.
so good in Madden
Yeah.
2004.
He was good for the
Madden
Philadelphia
2004.
Eagles.
He was a
So
god.
in his defense,
If you played with him in Madden 2004, you were cheating.
I was playing all by myself. So it
That's
didn't matter.
odd jobbing. Yeah.
He could just run away from the defense. Fuck you. He was so fast. He was a ton of fun to watch. Like I actually watched the Falcons. That was a couple.
Do
of
they
years
like
when
let
we had
him on like ESPN now for like analysis
not
and
really.
stuff?
I see him every.
I
he
now and
doesn't
then.
really have the gift of gab.
Yeah,
That's unsurprising.
he's not. He seems a little low energy. He's sort of like low key. It's not that he's unintelligent. He's just kind of low key. He doesn't have that sort of, and he's not funny.
Of course.
I like to know what's going on. I've been following this Columbia, all the universities. I keep joking. The new Taco Bell Infantado.
Did you see Biden spoke out on it?
What did he say?
You'd approve. He basically said, like, this is a cross section of the right to free speech and violence. And he's like, if you stop someone from going to class, if you're destroying property, that's not free speech. That's not
They
okay.
They took 3 janitors hostage in New York.
That's not free speech. Yeah. I think it was only a couple minutes long, but I walked away being like, well, this doesn't change anything, but I agree with him.
Yeah, well, they're calling him Genocide Joe, so he doesn't have to worry about losing that part of his base anymore. The far left is not down with Joe Biden. I'm not saying they're down with Donald Trump either. Most of them can't vote and don't know how to. They're busy smoking doobies out there at in the Columbia parking lot.
Doobies.
You see those
They
frat-
need some. It's the
Uh,
opposite of that, honestly. Though those kids need
Mhm.
to get fucking high. They are way too high strung about this shit.
Did you see those frat kids who like
I
I
sent
guess
you the picture.
At
Yeah.
UNC?
they
Yeah,
like
yeah.
kept the American flag up, and then I saw a clip of like some fat pink-haired bitch coming up to him and being like, "You're fucking insert a million buzzwords, fascist, racist, something phobe."
Mm.
And then one of the frat guys is like, "Lose some weight, you fat pig." and that's like every comment's like based, like this, and it's so funny to see the frat guys just partying, having a good time, keeping the American.
Yeah, the gloves
flag
have been once you're standing under a flagpole being pelted with rocks and drinks and beer for an hour or so, you defending the American flag from your fellow students. Gloves are off with the verbal insults. I think at that point,
Yeah.
yeah.
My wife
Yeah.
and I were talking about it. We were just disgusted by people taking down the American flag and putting up a Palestinian one. It doesn't sit right with us.
Well, I liked seeing the NYPD come in and like fix that. You know, like taking down the Palestinian flag. I love here in Georgia, in Atlanta, at Emory University, they had a big shit show, whatever. That's where you might have seen I'm a professor of economics as she gets fucking tossed to the ground, and they're like, "Look at them! They slammed her head on the concrete." Her head,
but only once.
No, not even once. Like she landed on the grass, and her head was over the concrete, and her face may have touched it, but like. You get slammed on the concrete, you don't wake up for a while. This big bitch is crying. And they're like, I don't fucking care, ma'am. I'm a Georgia State Patrol member. They're locking them the fuck up. It's great. Really enjoy it. I get what they're trying to do. I don't like seeing Palestinian babies fucking 4th degree burns so that you can see them looking like a piece of meat in a window. That's just disgusting. I hate that that's happening. But, you know, as Woody always says when this comes around, fuck around and find out, right? Woody, he says they deserved it.
I watched a podcast of
especially the children.
The guy was from the right, but he's a never Trumper, so I don't know if you still consider him from the right. And anyway, he compared it to the Reddit subreddit Am I the Asshole? And he's like, everybody sucks here. It's really hard to defend what's happening to the Palestinians. It's really hard to defend what's happening to the Israelis. It's like everybody sucks here.
Yeah, and you can't file like walk a thin line between. You're almost not allowed to say, I don't want genocide in Palestine. I don't want babies burnt. I don't want aid workers directly targeted. That's the thing that gets me. That's the thing I really don't like, because look, if the Mexicans came over and did what they did to us in southern Texas, things would get rough, but they wouldn't be like this. Aid would be getting to the people. The children wouldn't be targeted. You wouldn't have people with their hands behind their back shot and thrown in a pit. We'd ship them to another country and let that happen over there, away from prying eyes.
That's what I'm not saying those for.
It's not that how evil they're being or how awful they're being. It's how flagrantly they're doing it. It's they know that there's no breaks for them, that nobody's going to tell them to stop.
America's going to keep giving them money. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
But on the other hand, that October 7th thing was not cool. And whatever happens is directly because that happened. So know that as you suffer.
Biden, rightly, is taking a lot of heat for what's happening because we're still supporting Israel, right? So you are tacitly supporting all the bad stuff that
Israel's doing. We're building?
Wait, there's more. Trump, on the other hand, his thing is like, well, what Israel's doing wrong, they have a PR problem. They need to put some better videos out there. And I'm like, you don't sound like Genocide Joe. We got Genocide Don over here too. Like he says Israel needs to finish the job.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
I know it doesn't, but he needs to make sure that while Israel does this, they should take some videos of them like feeding puppies or something. Yeah. And I'm like, this is not a better.
All of our politicians just have a fucking boner for Israel. Like they will say, not like, do you see the shit like making like laws about anti-Semitism now? Where like it's like they get so riled up. Anything about like a Republican from fucking Arkansas, they'll be like, hey, in the past few years, like 100,000 people have died of like overdoses that are preventable in your state, and he'll be like, that's a damn shame. And then someone on a college campus will be like, I don't like this Israel stuff, and he'll be like, we need to shut down the ability to speak. I'm doing Lindsey Graham, by the way. And we need Israel's my greatest ally, and I will be killed before I say anything otherwise. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you this vehement about a foreign country? Like this is ridiculous.
I hate all those hate crime laws. Like I don't know. Like if you say beat up a guy on the street just because you don't like his hairstyle, and you beat up another guy because he's Jewish or black or whatever, same penalty, same crime. There shouldn't be like a double down penalty because this guy's a protected group.
Agreed. Like even like I think my Missouri guy, Josh Hawley, has said stuff where he's like, I will always support Israel. You can never stop me from it. And it's like, whoa. You're an American elected official. You shouldn't be saying this shit about any foreign country. If like something is better for Americans.
That guy's a member of the IDF though, right? Like isn't that the guy that wore his IDF uniform?
I have no idea about that.
Is he?
Is he?
I mean,
Really?
I'm asking. Like one of the congressmen wore his IDF uniform after one of the squad flew the Palestinian flag.
Oh, maybe it is him. I don't know. But like seeing American
Pretty good tit for
politicians
tat.
be that vehement and being like, I will never stop supporting this foreign country is like, well, what the hell? Like that shouldn't be your number one priority. You're an American.
I only care about the war in Ukraine. That's the only one
That's
cool.
old hat. That's old
Dude,
hat.
I saw a video from that recently, and it's a Russian, and he's making like a TikTok video for Russians, and he's just like, send us pump shotguns. We need pump action shotguns. We're being cut apart from the sky. And I was like, oh, my calling. I would be so good at shooting those drones, I bet. But that's what they were asking for. They want pump action shotguns to defend against the
pump.
I don't know why he said pump. I mean, obviously they're cheap and they work. You know, they're $300 a piece, and you know, I don't.
It's I didn't understand. It was a Russian or a Ukrainian guy who said they wanted shotguns.
A Russian guy, because they're getting hit by those. I saw a picture of how many drones the Ukrainians have right now, and it was just this mountain of them in boxes. They have so many of these like suicide drones that like are, you know, a guided missile basically operated by a guy, and they're just killing a lot of Russians.
I used to be very excited about the idea that the Russian military was getting diminished, right? So many tanks getting busted, armored vehicles, etc. But now I kind of feel like Russia hasn't been in a real war since Afghanistan, and even that one's not, I don't know, a little different. Now, Russia has a lot of military experience that they didn't previously have. It's gone from theoretical to genuine. China, I think when they take their shit and test it in war, they're going to learn a lot. They're going to, because China hasn't been in a real war for my lifetime, ? I don't know. A long time. Russia, not too far from that. They're not like America, who likes to do a dust up every 4 years or so.
They are, though. They've been in Syria fighting continuously with us, in the Middle East fighting ISIS continuously. They were part of the global war on terror, especially with ISIS. I'm sorry,
you're right. Yeah, that's a really good point. This is a bigger scale, though, and I do think they're learning a lot from it.
Yeah,
you guys. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. One of you, or maybe both of you, were like, Russia has more tanks now than they did at the start of the war.
More personnel,
something like that.
I read more tanks. I was the one who said that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and I was like, "There's no fucking way." I did see something. I think you guys were right on that.
Oh, really? They do have more tanks? You saw that too?
I may have just how I don't understand how that can be either, but I think you guys were right.
I don't know how that can be. I don't know how that could be. They've lost so many. They've lost thousands, and they haven't built thousands. Like they're not building new T-34s.
It is true. New trust on this stuff. You know,
like new tank is the Armada. They've made 12 or something.
Oh, that's not very many at all.
They won't send any of them. The T-90 is what they actually use. It's
like Zach said they tripled production.
They tripled production. One thing they do a lot of is upgrade old tanks. You know, so it's like, this is a World War II piece of crap. Yeah, the shell is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Every time I see the war recently, it's been mostly fighting in trenches with machine guns. So like that's the fighting I've been seeing.
Fighting in trenches would suck so bad. That would suck.
And then I saw like a double attack 'em strike on a position of Russians training somewhere today. And you know, it's like God's shotgun, those missiles.
That's a great description.
It's like God had a double barrel and he lets you have it with both barrels.
I'm shocked that Russians are still assembling like that. So what I saw, I'm going to make up numbers. It looked like 150, 200 people in.
Said 160.
Oh, well, damn, look at me. And in like what I would call half a football field, maybe less than that. And I'm like, dude, that is a lot of people to have standing around. They must have been gathered there. I bet they wanted to tell them something. You have to stop doing that. There's drones everywhere. They see you and then they attack you, and the whole thing takes like 4 minutes. Stop giving the Ukraine, or keep doing it, but you're giving the Ukrainians so many targets. Why haven't you learned from this?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And that shit it's shooting, I think it's tungsten, like chunks moving at the speed of light, basically. Not really, but
or HIMARS. Because
I think my understanding is the ATACMS is like the missile part that gives it the extra range, but I may not understand what was going on. I know when it went off, whatever it is, it's that. And it was also smoldering and smoking, each chunk giving off some sort of scary gas.
Oh, that's not dust? I don't know.
It was burning, like
Oh,
wherever
shit.
they hit, like on the ground. It seemed like it was like burning and giving
meteorite.
off. Yeah, it was so cool. Love seeing that stuff get used. Go America!
Are there any wars we're not like involved in
Why
right
would
now?
there
Like
be?
really huge ones that we could.
Sudan.
You could
The Sudan and
Sudan?
Haiti and
Isn't Saudi Arabia beating somebody up? Are we
Yemen.
involved in that? Yeah.
right?
I'm sure we're involved in that in some way.
Yeah, definitely.
You're
If the
probably
Saudis are. What about Haiti? I don't know if that's a full scale war. It's more just like
Collapse.
gangland warfare, I guess, where it's just a bunch of gangs eating people.
I heard a
Taylor has-
YouTuber went down
Taylor
there
has
and
more
barbecue and got
FOMO.
snatched up.
Well, a YouTuber got snatched up.
I heard a YouTuber went down there to interview barbecue.
get
and they snatched him up. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if he got it.
What? That's funny. Like I can't imagine what would possess you to go to Haiti right now.
Views and clicks, baby. Get those subs.
There aren't enough views though to
there's
make
enough
up
views.
for like it's like I'm gonna go meet the cannibal warlord of Haiti.
If you thought you could get 100 million view video out of going and seeing the cannibal warlord of Haiti, you'd do it. You'd do it. And then the next week you'd have to find somebody even scarier to interview. So
That's
then it's
just an investment because like today you interview barbecue, tomorrow you interview Putin or something. Like your next
Yeah.
video is going to get a lot of attention too.
I don't know if that's. I bet
That's
there's
how
a
it works.
lot of steps between barbecue in Haiti and Putin in Russia.
Yeah, a lot of warlords. Like you gotta go to Somalia
There's
for
a lot
sure.
a lot of hopping to go.
You know what I would want to see? What I genuinely, I would love to see an interview where you're interviewing us like the Somali captain, like the pirate captain of Somalia, and like when it cuts back to you, you're dressed as a real pirate.
An
like
old
you got
school
the-
one.
Yar, matey, tell me about what you've been doing on them seas.
I'm here in Mogadishu in blackface to find out what's going on.
With a parrot on your shoulder.
Yeah,
Parrot's got blackface,
clearly
too.
a prop. It's got blackface also.
That's an African parrot. Yeah.
Shave my head, blackface.
It's African parrot. I don't think that's a thing.
It's an African American parrot. He talks like that. Leave him alone. He's dropping the N bomb all the time.
I'm sorry, I didn't teach him this. I did. Yeah, I don't know what the Somali pirates are up to. Probably no good.
I think the Houthis have taken over that bag. It seems like they're the ones causing trouble off of Africa and up into those straits.
That is close to Yemen. Yemen
Haven't heard
is kind of Iranian allied. That's where the Houthis
Aren't you
are.
glad we live in the boring part of the world? You know why it's boring? Because we made it that way with our American missiles and power, Taylor. And everyone is afraid to make it anything but boring here because they know we'll kill them.
God made it
Yeah.
that way too.
We have
It's
a
No.
a nice
If
protection.
God is the fucking eagle that flies on top of that flag, then yes, we made it that way.
I watched a YouTube video that explained why America was geographically so hard to invade,
Mhm.
and God did that.
Half a dozen countries used to be over here. They aren't anymore. They're gone.
God did that too. Through
No
God,
more
anything is possible.
Frenchmen.
You might want to jot that down, Kyle.
Yeah, there aren't no Frenchmen over here.
No,
That's true.
I think we
Thank
should take a
goodness.
good chunk of Mexico. Like, I think we should, like, they.
Mhm.
No, they
manage
need to
it?
build something down there worth stealing first. Then we can
Mexico. I
drop
want it.
down.
The Baja.
Yeah. Also, it would really shorten how much wall we have to build.
That little peninsula thing down there. You
Mhm.
want that?
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
I want that
100%.
too.
We should take that. Actually, what we should do is like we should do what Croatia did to Bosnia with Mexico's shoreline. Mexico's been just sending fucking people from South
Your
America.
listener knows what Croatia did to Bosnia.
Oh,
They
wait, I
took the
do
whole
know.
thing.
Yeah, get
Croatia
the map.
took the entire fucking coastline.
Matt, can you
and-
pull
and-
up a map of Croatia? This
Yeah.
is fucking
And
hilarious.
so, like, we do, like, Mexico's sending all the illegals up to us. They're fucking causing problems. Hey, that's enough beaches for you guys for now. Get it together. We just, huge slice their entire Pacific coast, ours now. Beautiful, beautiful beaches, resorts.
I'm still going through Dan Carlin's Supernova in the East about the Japanese in World War II.
Look at that beach.
Oh, look at that. And like, not only is it a beach, can I just say it's a huge chain of islands. Like, this map is probably being a bit vague because of the size of the map. I bet there's dozens and dozens of those islands there.
They did
Yeah.
give them a little bit. I bet there's a port there.
to give them
Would
one
it be
port.
so easy to control, like in a military sense? Like they can just take
Yes.
that away easily.
Look. Oh my.
Is that, man,
What's that
Croatia?
Did they film Game of Thrones here?
I actually think they did do some filming in Croatia.
I'm pretty sure that's
a bunch of
the.
cool shit in Croatia.
I think that's King's Landing rooftops that you were looking at over there, and obviously you got the water here for any shooting.
Shucks.
Plus,
Shout
I
out
gotta say,
Croatia.
if they're like, so we found 2 locations. There's this beautiful Croatian paradise, and there's also Tucson, Arizona. They have a little town with red roofs too, and you're like, let's get in the plane, Mark. We're
I'm
gonna be in
thinking
Croatia, for
Croatia.
the next 3 months. I'm thinking, is it good?
Yeah.
Is it nice this time of year? He's like, it's nice all the time in Croatia.
It's
That looks like a
beautiful.
paradise. That's the most
That
beautiful
looks
place I've seen.
amazing.
Yeah, let's. Big
What's the
shout out to
exchange rate
Croatia.
in Croatia, Zach?
Let's see. Now, what is the Croatian dollar? Probably something goofy.
The
Be right back.
the
The euro. I guess we should have seen that coming. Oh, there it is. The kuna. I wanted to see what they actually have.
looks like $1 is 7 kuna.
7-1. Yeah, but how much does a fucking kuna get you?
How far does a kuna go? You know what I mean? Like what is a loaf of bread? How many kunas is a loaf of bread? You would think like a quarter of a kuna.
Let's see. Croatia prices for food. Is
What are
Croatia expensive? Oh, this is cruisecroatia.com. This is fucking propaganda. They're not.
That's my site.
They're gonna fool me. Cost of living. Milk. 27 euro cents.
Okay, that still seems low.
What is the? I feel like a retard. What's the
Euro's
name
stronger.
of the smaller denomination within the euro? Like the the pennies, the cents. What is it?
He said euro cents. That's probably euro cents.
No, I'm making that up. It said 0.27
Oh.
the euro sign, and I was like 20, 25 euros.
I don't know, bits and bobs, whatever those losers name their currency.
Bits and bobs. Dude, you can get, oh, that's not that much chicken at all. 0.15 kilograms for
Okay, here we go. Look, Zach's got a chart for us.
Okay.
Seems pretty similar, honestly.
1,700 a month. Cut out alcohol.
Cut out alcohol, cut out the gym, cut out your phone. This is gonna be
Double
Damn.
entertainment.
Coffee is pricey. Or maybe
Bring
everything
on
else is
coffee,
cheap.
Jesus.
Yeah, $35 a month for coffee. Is that
That's about right, honestly. With
That's
my
not
coffee
that
pods
crazy.
and like sweetener and fucking cream and shit.
dude, $520
I-
just for eating out?
That's so bright.
That is so
That's more than rent.
Yeah. Damn, Croatia looks nice. That'd be a fun place to live. What language do they speak?
Croati.
Croati?
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of those?
Serbo-Croatian, right?
You're probably right. I don't know if the Balkan area, I don't know if they're all like Italy, where most of them speak English.